I hadn't even really heard of such a thing until the rep from Oshkosh told us about these systems they were putting on in the factory.
If you have 30 or 40 machines that you're constantly changing oil on, you either have to do that in the evenings or early morning, or you have to come out onto the project and shut down the equipment during the course of the day.
For me, it's very important that I don't break down on the highway. For me, it's more important to make sure that that engine, that truck performs as it should be, because I cannot afford it.
One of the biggest challenges we have here is, our oil. It's got to be kept clean.
Yeah, we know. We've heard it all before about bypass oil filters. So let's get straight to the point. We don't expect you to believe what you're about to see. Some of our longtime customers still don't believe the results they're getting. But we guarantee you that the folks who use the FS-2500 oil filter are true believers in how the system saves them money, saves them time, and protects their engines. Problem solved is what we like to say. One of the biggest problems, soot, is produced by the combustion of the fuel inside your diesel engine. This reaction not only produces exhaust that contributes to pollution, but along with sand, dust, water, and other outside particles that get in your motor, soot hardens to a point that your oil soon becomes a fluid highway carrying microscopic erosive particles that continuously wind their way through your engine, chipping away at the reliability and productivity of your valuable investment. And as if that weren't enough, as the soot and sand and dust destroy the oil cushion between the moving parts and corrode your engine walls, small flakes of metal or wear particles break loose and accelerate the demise of your engine. Soon, you're looking at expensive repairs, an overhaul, or worse.
If I would break down on a highway, I would have a hell of a time to find somebody who would pull my load to deliver the load on time.
Everybody's really concerned about this because it's cost. Bottom line, it's costing.
A lot of the jobs we work on these days are kind of fast-paced projects, so any kind of downtime would certainly irritate the people we work for.
Thankfully, the FS-2500 solves these problems and more. Let's see how the FS-2500 and standard oil filters perform side by side. By using 5-weight hydraulic fluid for its low viscosity and high visibility, and after mixing carbon black and soot in the fluid as a contaminant, you can see that the standard filter fails to restore the fluid to its original clear state. Instead, the carbon black, which at 0.3 to 39 microns in size closely simulates the actual soot in your engine, continues to reside in the oil. Why does the oil remain black? Because a standard oil filter removes with 98% efficiency only those particles measuring approximately 33 microns and above. In fact, the most effective full-flow filter is efficient only to 23 microns and above. The bad news for them is that the most damaging particles, according to CAT, Mack, Cummins, and Detroit Diesel, are in the 4 to 7 micron range. So not only does the competition not completely clean the oil, but it also leaves the most damaging particles free to wreak havoc on your engine. Now let's take a look at what the FS-2500 does for its customers. Using the same fluid and the same contaminants, the FS-2500 clearly removes the soot from the oil. That's because the FS-2500 removes particles as small as 2.78 microns, absolute, at 99.63% efficiency, according to third-party testing at the Southwest Research Institute in San Antonio, Texas. That means that the FS-2500 removes all of the particles deemed by the original equipment manufacturers to cause the most engine damage. You can see for yourself how clean the oil turns with the FS-2500. Smaller soot particles and the oil itself can pass through to subsequent layers inside the element, each with a different micron rating. This allows the filter to effectively remove all the contaminants, while the oil itself remains free-flowing and capable of serving its purpose inside your engine. By producing clean, free-flowing oil, devoid of contaminants and corrosives, the FS-2500 stops up to 99% of the wear on your engine. You know what that means? Problem solved.
I got now 640,000, almost 640,000 miles on the engine, and pretty much without that filter, I would say at any given time you could expect that some major maintenance would come up. And watching the gauges, I don't see any sign that the engine is not performing as it should be since day one. I mean, what more can you ask for?
We have had no engine problems on these machines. I think I've got one machine that I've probably had this system on for at least 8,000 hours. And it still runs just as good as it ever has.
I just recently had a rod and main bearing replaced on my engine. It was just strictly out of maintenance. The truck was not giving me any problems or anything, but the dealer that did it said those bearings could have gone another 300,000–400,000.
I guess seeing's believing when you can see something like that.
In addition to cleaning the oil and stopping the wear on your engine, the FS-2500 also saves you time and money. Heavy equipment operators who used to change oil every 250 hours are now getting perfect oil samples at 850 hours or more. Over-the-road drivers who used to drain every 12 to 15,000 miles now are going 65,000 miles or more with the same oil. Even municipal bus systems, such as those in St. Louis and Miami, have returned to 6,000-mile oil change intervals after installing the FS-2500 on their fleets. Clearly, extending oil change intervals increases productivity and reduces oil consumption, which saves you time and money and increases your net profits.
I've had some from the start that ran up to 1,800, I believe, and it shocked me more than anything. I went ahead and changed it. I wanted to make sure, because I dropped back just to one company analyzing the oil. I went ahead and changed it. Since then, I've got a little braver and went a little farther. And yes, we've got one, don't quote me, but it's 2,360 some hours on the same oil. Still getting good oil reports back, the analysis. And I feel like as long as, you know, you can keep doing that, you've got to be saving money.
My intervals have been going a little over 60,000, just basically because I'm caught out somewhere when it turns 60, so I mean, I'm not going to just do it right there. I usually wait till I get home or to the dealer where I usually go.
250 was recommended for a full drain, filter change and everything. We've extended that up to 750 because of the new filter systems allows us to just spin off this cartridge, put a new filter in their element and another quart of oil, and we're good to go. It's saving us a lot of time, a lot of money in the oil.
But we haven't added the additional employee as we have grown in our fleet. Not only do you not add the employee, you don't add a vehicle and all the equipment associated with that. Theoretically, you're talking in excess of $100,000 a year for that additional employee and the equipment that he needs to do his job.
Okay, so the FS-2500 cleans your oil, reduces your engine wear, saves you time and money. But how hard is it to install and maintain? Well, it's pretty simple in both cases. With our engine chassis specific kits, you can easily install the FS-2500 yourself, or you can have it installed by a professional. And once it's on your engine, changing the element is a snap.
Arranged a trip to come out through the Kansas City area, and I had this installed. I couldn't believe how quick they installed it.
We have two of the filter systems. One is for the engine, the actual motor oil, and the other one is for our automatic transmission.
Maintenance for the filter itself is rather simple. I mean, it takes probably 5 to 10 minutes of just a 3/4 inch wrench, loosens it, takes it off. It's one of the simplest things I've ever done. A lot of times I'll even do it while I'm fueling at a truck stop, but there's hardly any oil at all that drains out of it anyway. So
These are not messy at all to change out, but a normal oil drain, yeah, it's real messy. I got our guys doing this in about 10 to 15 minutes. They can almost do it between a load.
The FS-2500 filtering system is as simple as you can get to change. We can come in, pull an oil sample, change the filtration filter, be gone in a matter of minutes instead of taking an hour, hour and a half.
The FS-2500 is approved and recommended by both Detroit Diesel and Oshkosh Truck for use on select engines, and that says a lot. But we think FS-2500 customers say it best.
With Oshkosh now for 5, 6 years, so I think anything that they're going to put on or recommend to put on one of their machines, this has to be pretty dang good.
And I guarantee you that both Lyndall and I would have never believed that you could get 1,800 hours, 2,000 hours on an oil change. And I will guarantee you that if you tell certain people in our industry that that's what you're doing, they're going to think you're absolutely crazy for extending it that far. But when the oil samples come back to us, the bottom line is the data that they're giving us tells us that the oil is still in excellent shape.
And that engine here, I can prove it, I got the instantaneous readout. That engine has for lifetime, that means for 639,000 miles so far, 7.13 miles to the gallon. That is convincing.
what I invested in this was just a few $100s, and it has saved me well over $1,000 per year.
In our 10 years in business, we have not lost an engine yet, and I would certainly claim that part of that success is due to the filtration solution product.
To order the FS-2500 oil filtration system for your heavy equipment, tractor, trailer, bus, RV, pickup truck, or just about any diesel-powered engine, call us today toll-free at 888-440-9056 or write us at info@fs2500.com. Then you too can say, problem solved.
Honestly, if they're like me, was as skeptical as I was at first, I'd recommend buying one system, put it on a piece of equipment, keep a close eye on it, and I'm sure in time, if they do their maintenance correctly and stuff and pull their sampling, that they would be as happy with it as that we have been.